Welcome to the class. In this class of English today, we are going to be talking about prepositions. It's one of the parts of a speech. In continuation with the discussion on parts of a speech, we talk about this category in particular today. This is one such category of words in English which can be called a word of closed class. It simply means that there is a limited number of prepositions in any language. In English, we have a limited number of prepositions. These are also called function words. So, when a word has its grammatical function, they are known as function words. One can always ask, all words in a sentence can have grammatical function. Knowing that well, we are talking in particular about only closed class of words. If you hear something about closed class of words, you also know there is going to be open class of words. So what's the difference between the two? The difference is pretty simple. Difference is we can have nouns as open class, but we have pronouns as closed class, meaning we can have millions of nouns because nouns are naming words in any language and also in English, but pronouns are a category of closed class because we have only a limited set of pronouns for all those nouns. Similarly, prepositions are a closed class words. Having talked about this, we talk a few more things about prepositions to introduce this term, and then we look at the function and its uses in English. Something else that we need to know about preposition is what is it? That is, what is it that prepositions do in the language? So, to answer that question, we can say words that help us show relationships in time, place, and position. So, the demonstrating relationship in terms of time, place, and position, and few more things with respect to the noun that they precede is the function of preposition. You can see the examples of words like in, on, at, by, from, with, before, after, for, and a lot more. All these are examples of prepositions in English. I'll see you at the office on Monday. You see the underlined parts? These are prepositions. He stood before me in the queue. Before is a preposition and in is also a preposition. So, in these two examples, for instance, you see at, on, before, and in. At is the preposition of place, on is the preposition of time, before is the preposition of position, and in is again the preposition of place. So, in can also be taken here. We are going to look at more details of these. We are going to look at more details of these prepositions pretty soon. Another important point that we need to mention about prepositions is the following. You would have already noticed it by now. If you have been using prepositions a lot in your language, and this will ring the bell right away, meaning you will be able to see the point in a moment. Look at the name of this category of prepositions. So it's clearly talking about position. And then look at this prefix pre. it tells you something, which simply means prepositions are always going to precede the noun in English. So look at this: at, before, on, in, any preposition you see, they can only precede a noun. The preposition that you see, they can only precede nouns. Or we can say the same thing in different words. What follows a preposition can only be noun or a pronoun. We can say a pronoun because a pronoun replaces a noun. We have talked about that, you know that. So there is a close connection, there is an interdependency between preposition and noun. In the context of discussion of parts of a speech, you also can underline that we have many parts of a speech are interconnected with one another. They are interconnected in this specific way. So here we are talking about the interconnection between a noun and a preposition. And another footnote for us to remember, because, so first of all, let's take the footnote. Footnote is, in English, these elements are called prepositions. In our languages, that is, languages that we grew up speaking, namely Tamil, Telugu, Malayalam, Hindi, Marathi, Bengali, and so on, these words follow a noun. That is, this category of word follows, the category of words follows a noun. So in that context, since these ones are called prepositions, such words are called postpositions. There is no hyphen between these words. I am putting this hyphen for you to see because they follow, they are called postpositions. These words precede, therefore they are called prepositions. In other words, they have a position preceding a noun. These elements are, they have a position following a noun. So let's check. On Monday. So when we see on here, then we know the following word Monday is a noun. So it can be a noun or a noun phrase. The office is a noun. Here we see that the preceding, the entire sequence is a noun phrase and the preceding element is a preposition. This part, the, is called an article or a determiner, and as another piece of footnote, we need to know that determiners also can precede only a noun. So these, if you pay attention to these things, you know them also as diagnostic features. You know, if there is an article, the following element will be a noun. If there is a preposition, the following element will be a noun and therefore a noun phrase. Look at everything before me. Here you see a pronoun and you have a noun, you have a preposition following it. In a preposition following sequence, the Q is a noun phrase where the is a determiner again. So these are few things to know about prepositions apart from knowing their function. And the reason why we need to know the function of a preposition is because they are often used in sentences, in discourse, and they are critical elements for understanding others and speaking good English. Good uses of prepositions can make our speech better, can make our writing better. When we write lot of things in a sentence. Sentences are usually longer. When we speak, sentences are usually longer. So they keep sentences become longer only on the basis of more and more prepositional phrases. So like you see here, on Monday, this Monday is a noun and this is a preposition. So together they become a prepositional phrase. So these are the things that you will see later, but this type of information, if it stays in the back of your mind, that is going to be very helpful in learning and brushing up what you are up to. I add one more piece of footnote here. Please do check what we call postpositions in our languages. Please make a sentence. I am not recommending translation and learning through translation. I'm only suggesting you take these two sentences. Say these two sentences to yourself or write them on a piece of paper in your language and check these elements like at, on, before, in your languages. Find it out how they follow a noun. When you look at it, when you compare the two, your learning of these elements in particular and the whole language in general becomes much easier and faster. There is a lot of connection between the new language that we are going to learn and the language that we speak, that we grew up speaking without consciously learning them. So the connection between the two is going to be helpful. So something that we don't even pay attention to in the process of learning can also be responsible for learning. Therefore, we are asking you to do these things. They will be very helpful. Now, we move to the functions of prepositions. So we talked about just 3-4 in 2 sentences, and we give you a set of prepositions which are most often used. Here is a list of, we have taken it from a particular source which we acknowledge here, but this gives you a list of lot of postpositions in one place. They are all arranged in alphabetical order. They are all the word that make the whole class is a closed class. We don't claim that this is an exhaustive list and there is no more preposition in English, but this is quite an exhaustive list. Please pay attention to that. And in particular, we are asking you to pay attention to what are seen here as compound postpositions or complex postpositions. Keep in mind, the function is exactly intact. There is no change in the function. But things like, let's take some examples like around, about, above. These are simple prepositions. But according to here, you see something of the nature of verb here. ing is the element that we usually take for verbs. And then you have to. So this whole thing, according to, is one preposition. It's called compound preposition, but they do exist. The function is exactly the same. Again, you see across, after, against, ago, ahead of. Ahead is also a preposition and ahead of is also a preposition. Since the two also exist independently and we get a new one made by combining the two, therefore they are called compound postpositions. So along, amid, among, amongst, apart, around, as far as well as, aside, at, away, because of. Look at this. So by means of. Look at this. We have a preposition in, then we have in accordance with, in addition to, in case of, in front of, in lieu of, in place of, in spite of. Into, it's usually written as into without a space, inside, instead of, and so on. So look at this. So we have into, and we have to also as a preposition, independent preposition. So we have with as a preposition, we have with a view to. Look at this. Here we have to as well and with both. Here is within, where we have with and in together. So we are not talking about creativity underlying prepositions, but some prepositions are compound in nature as well. All of them precede a noun. All of them have a specific function, and they come in a closed class, meaning there are only few of them. It's not millions of them or hundreds of them. So now look at some of them. We start with the basic ones: at, on, in, and for. So at is used for a specific or precise time. So if somebody gives you an appointment, 4 a.m. or noon or 4 p.m., we are picking up a.m. here in particular because if somebody talks about 4 a.m., this must be a very specific thing. So we need to use at with that. On for days and dates. So on Wednesday or on 25th of June. We use in for longer periods like months, years, season, etc. Like in January, in 2017, in the summer, and so on. We also use this preposition in when we mean something is contained inside a bigger thing. Then we use in, like in the box, in the house. We use these kinds of prepositions as well. For, we use for duration of time, for 3 years, for a year, and so on. We use at, again, look at this. We can use it for a specific place also, at the library. On, referring to the area of surface on the terrace. And in, place with a boundary, in the room, in the sea. So see this? This is what I was talking about. So when it has a boundary, it's contained within, we use the in. And for a specific place, again, we use at, and for a specific, the on is used referring to the area on the surface. So towards, into, up, expressing direction towards the church, across the street, and so on. We use them in that way. We use by in these contexts. This is one preposition. We use it for showing how something has been done. Manufactured by machine. Look at this. Showing how somebody commutes, travels by bus. Indicating the agent in passive. That is, we use a by preposition before what looks like a subject in an active sentence, and we move it back to the passive sentence. So we are informed by the authorities. So work written, done by people, built by a carpenter. We use by in these contexts. Same way, we have a list of things for functions for you, like about, across, against, after, at. So look at this. We use about, on. So look at this. This movie is about 3 students in a college. Approximately. It takes about give grams of copper dioxide. Take about a gram of copper dioxide. So we are just using some examples to indicate how they are used. Across, from one side to the other. We walked across the road to the ice cream parlor. So it's in the sense of crossing. We use against, to oppose to and in contact with. It is against the law to obstruct government officials while they are performing their duty. See the other uses. Place the refrigerator against the wall. So in contact with and opposed to, these are two uses. So we are only giving you some examples of these things. After is used in terms of later in time, later in group, or follow somebody or something. So like when you say meet me after 5 o'clock. So that's about time. Meet me after singer. Meet the dancer will come after singer in the procession. The policeman ran after thieves. So it's in the sense of following. So along is also used in the sense of following. Walk along the road till you see the bus stop on the right. So this is the preposition that is used for that. So we have at for a specific location, at a point of time, and activity towards somebody or something. So in these contexts also see the examples and use them. We have again described before, between, but, by, down, during, and for, from, in, inside, into, like, and near. So we are giving you an exhaustive list of roughly 22 prepositions with the context. We are doing this with an idea that these are the 32 prepositions which are most commonly and by all means most frequently used prepositions by people when they speak and they write. So the claim is not that these prepositions cannot be used in more contexts. The only when we write in the second column meaning, we are only giving you some approximate idea. So main point that we want to put forth here are certain things that we described in the beginning. Now the things that we are giving you with approximate meaning and a list of 32 prepositions. But as third part of this understanding, of this elaboration, I want to give you a couple of specific suggestions for which will be helpful, and if you practice them, it will the list of this closed class of words will become quite apparent to you. Which is the first one I have mentioned before. I am going to repeat it. Please do make a sentence of your own with these prepositions that we are discussing with you. So we have given you 32 with several meanings. So if we are giving you approximately 50 meaning or 60 meanings of these prepositions, then what will really help is you make 60 sentences of your own and take them in your notebook. That's one. I can repeat it multiple times, but that won't change the meaning. We do recommend that you write them with a pen on a notebook. Please do not type them on a machine. Take your time, sit down, stay relaxed, and write your sentences with a pen and paper, with a pen on the paper. See, we are using prepositions in that as well, with a pen on the paper. Remember that? How you need to do it, how you need to do exercises of this with a pen on the paper. Second, you should be writing an equal number of sentences, either the same sentence in your language or a new sentence in your language. That will be helpful. That will make you see that you are looking at postpositions in your language and you are getting a sense of, you are paying attention to how these elements are used in your language. You don't need to do more than that. Rest will happen in your subconscious, and the impact of these things will show up when you use them either in your writing or in your speaking. That is what we want to recommend you for this. So we took some time to talk only about one specific part of speech for today, and we only needed to tell you, we only needed to make 5-6 points with this special type of parts of a speech for you, and we will come back with more and newer things shortly. Thank you.